Hi friends! Welcome to the Overcomers, a movement and a group of people who have overcome and they've got a story. That's what the Overcomers is all about. You sharing your story. Why? Because there is power in your story and people need you. They need your voice. They need your story of hope, faith, and inspiration that where they're at right now is not the end. They need to know if you can overcome, so can they. Today, I'm excited to share with you another story of one such overcomer. So let's go check out who it is.
I'm honored to be here today with my friend Karla Reyes. Karla, thank you so much for joining with us today.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Hi, everyone.
So I want to share a few things about my amazing friend Karla in case you don't know her, like I have had the pleasure of getting to know her. Karla is a coach and an amazing mom of 3 and a wife joining us from Boston, Massachusetts. She's overcome a lot in life, from severe health issues and cancer, anxiety, a struggling marriage, to financial bankruptcy. Now she's an elite personal development coach helping women entrepreneurs who are mothers struggling with their marriage and finances grow their own businesses. Healing has happened, both physically and emotionally. Her communication with her husband is no longer toxic, and her family is in a new season, moving forward together. But what I'm blown away most by with you, Karla, is your overcoming spirit. Even though we haven't known each other very long, I have been so moved by not only all that you have overcome, but the drive that you have and the choices you have made amidst some truly tough battles. You chose to be honorable, to persevere, and to continue taking action on what you could. You are loyal, so loving, and committed. And I admire the humility you carry as you continue to own what you need to, what you recognize needed to change, and then how that humility has caused things in your life to change too. You are leading by example, and I'm so proud of you. So, without further ado, tell us your story. Tell us, how did you go from where you once were to where you are now?
Wow. Thank you, Jen, for your kindness. I want to tell you right now that I am blessed. I was lucky to be with you, to have all these coaching sessions with you. I want to thank you for everything. I want to tell you you that you who are watching me right now. I want to talk to you right now. I want to tell you that it's gonna be I, I don't even have a word to describe it, but it's incredible. When I go back 5 years back to the past, and I look myself today, I really I don't even know how is it that I got here. 5 years ago, and I want to go back to 2017. I really thought that my marriage and my life was really going well, but it was not really going that well. My husband went into he became addicted to and I want to be very clear with you. Maybe, who knows, maybe you went through the same experience, or maybe somebody else close to you did, but he got addicted to pornography and I didn't know about it. So he really started not bringing money to the home back then. It was the summer 2017. I had a newborn, my second son, Victor. He was born in May 2017. I remember that summer I was home. It was maybe 2 months postpartum that I got to know about my husband's addiction, and it was a little hard for me. The type of job that I had back then, it was not really enough for me to be able to pay all the bills and to live, pay the rent and to pay the utilities and for food. So I was really relying on my husband's, you know, productivity. He actually, back then I remember that he was a self-employed. And I remember that he used to say, oh, I'm going to work, and he will just not work. He will go somewhere else and not to work. It was really bad. So a few months after that, I started to look for a different job that will pay me more, so I could afford the rent and everything else. I went into debt little by little, living from my credit cards, but buying food, and paying the bills, and trying to get everything else. I even had a car. I remember it was a new car, a most recent model. It was a leasing, and wow, it was like $500 a month, and plus everything else. It was crazy. I didn't even know um what I was getting myself into, because I really didn't know about finances and pros and cons, and how to be smart with my money. And it was just a mess. It was a mess. I was living check by check. So that October, my husband left the home, and is when my nightmare started. We were back and forth. We went back and forth, starting that month, that year. Actually, I thought that he was doing better, and that December 2017, he came back to the home thinking that, okay, he's going to change, but he was not really changing. And so I got pregnant with my third daughter, with my third child, Micaela. And it was really hard. It's when things really got hard to me. I remember 2018, I was pregnant. At the beginning of my pregnancy, I didn't want to have that baby because I knew my marriage was not really well. I had a 6-month-old, and I had a 4-year-old who has autism. So imagine, I was truly alone. I was still fighting with my husband almost every day, but I was still hoping that he would change. I was very mistaken back then in so many things, and I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with anything. I had cancer 8 years ago, so physically I didn't have anything going on, but I was at risk to get sick again, because when you go through chemo and you overcome cancer, if you don't take care of your body, of yourself, you can definitely have any health issues that will come from that, um, let's say side effect, like a sickness as a side effect from the chemo and everything that your body have to go through. So in 2019, I truly got sick from my lymphoma, the cancer. I had a bacteria that I got, and I went through surgery. It was a hard year too. And imagine, I kept doing the same things over and over again. When Michaela was born, he left me alone. I was 36 weeks pregnant when I lost my apartment. I lost my car. I lost everything. And I had to move into my parents' house. I became homeless, let's say it that way. I didn't have any money. I just had at least had a job, that back then, that job was able to really help me to keep my children with food, and to at least be able to cover my basics needs. And that was a new beginning for me. I had to file bankruptcy, of course, after that. I didn't have any other choice. And I legally divorced with my husband during those months too, because I thought that my marriage was truly lost. It was hard. It was really hard. It was traumatic. I felt alone. Postpartum, when I had Michaela, my postpartum depression kicked in. I couldn't even breastfeed Michaela, I remember. I was so anxious that my breast, after a week, didn't have any milk left for Michaela to be able to breastfeed. And it was a lot of things. My parents, um, I don't think I'm gonna be able to appreciate enough what they did for me. You know, they sometimes we children, like adult children, right? Sometimes I mean, my parents, they love me so much that maybe because of the frustration back then, and because of everything that was going on to me through my mind, through my emotions, my kids, everything, they were hard on me in some ways, because they really wanted me to wake up and to take better decisions for myself. But at the moment, I was not really valuing
Mm.
what they were doing for me because of everything that I was going through. But right now, I cannot even, it's not enough for me to be able to thank them for what they did. If I just don't want to even think about what would have happened if I didn't have my parents with me. Pretty much they were living 2 blocks away from my apartment. They were so close. They made my life better on that moment, even if on that even if in those moments I couldn't really see it, they really did it. They supported me. They supported my children. Back then, they gave me a roof. And that was a very new beginning. My mom was the one who really helped me to manage my money when I was living with her. I remember that. I remember I just had like 2,500 left back then. It was like my last check.
Mm.
Since before I delivered Michaela, I got an FMLA without any pay because I didn't have any benefit. So I only had that. And she said, okay, Karla, tell me how much money do you have? Because I was going into bankruptcy, I really didn't have to pay any credit cards or anything, because that was gonna be covered for through the bankruptcy. So she just told me, okay, so these are your expenses, and this is how much you have, this is how much you're gonna have left. And so sometimes when we go too deep and we are in a moment in our life where we just don't have anything left,
Mm.
that's the moment that you really know the person that who you are. That's the moment that what are you really made of. um in that moment where there's no one, when there's nothing, when there's no way out, you know the only thing that you can have left is your hope, is your faith, is you saying, okay, so let me see what is it that I do have left.
Mm.
Let me see who is really around, who can help. And so that's why I called my parents back then. um and it was a very good new beginning. I won't lie to you. After that, my husband and I came back together after 6 months. And so it didn't go like truly well. But the only thing that it went different, though, it was my relationship with the money. When I came back with my husband, I told him that I had savings. I never told him that I had money in a side. It was not like a lot, but to me was enough to be able to live and to pay for my children's needs. I always wanted my children to have everything that they need, always. So I remember that. I remember I couldn't, after what happened when Michaela was born, I was not, I couldn't be honest with him about money anymore. I was not, because I was afraid that in my mind, he was gonna take advantage of that,
Mm.
that he was gonna stop working again because I had money. So he was gonna think that he didn't have to work again. Insecurity, low self-esteem. I was afraid. I was not, I was not ready, to be honest. And I didn't feel the same way, maybe from him to me, maybe. So, but it was my own decision to not share anything. Also, I will be honest too about this. I had my parents behind me who really wanted me to be good, to be better, to not go back to the same place I was, that, reminding me what happened in the past. And that also make me not capable of trusting him anymore for a long time. And so it kept going like that for a few. And it was not until I went to my first step to success in January 2020 when I realized that I needed to let go the toxicity of my
Mm.
marriage. So I'm gonna tell you something very crazy, and is that after that first step to success, I I didn't wanna keep living like that with him anymore. So I asked him to to leave, to leave the home. And he was not truly paying for anything in the house yet. He was very unstable in the house when it comes to be the man of the house, to to support us, his family. He was not really doing that job yet. So I was not into living like that anymore. So he left. That was March 2020. And that was when my healing started
Mm.
on that first step to success. So he lost his dad in April. He called me and he told me that he was abandoned by his dad when he was little. He didn't have a dad. Um, so he told me that he really wanted to take responsibility of his own life and be the dad that he was supposed to be and the husband that he was supposed to be. He came back home in May, but everything started to change little by little, little by little, little by little. And I'm gonna be honest with you, he never joined me to a first step. He never did. I certified with Destiny Global as a elite personal development coach. He was on my side, but he was not truly capable of joining me as of yet. Um, Inside of my heart, I knew that my husband back in 2017, he was just a victim of his own trauma, and he got addicted to this pornography because when I got married with this man 10 years ago, he was not like that. So I knew that something was off. So maybe I hold on onto that. And maybe that is why I was so freaking persistent about holding on to that hope that my marriage was going to work, because my husband was not that truly that man.
Mm.
He was not that man. So regardless that I went through so much pain, regardless that I went through so much pain, that I lost everything, that my children, were without a home at some point. That when I was at the hospital giving birth, my third daughter, I was alone. Regardless that I lost everything that I had back then. But today I'm right here. I'm right here because I hold on to the hope that I knew I knew that man, and that man was going through a process, and I didn't want to let him go, because I know that deep inside of him, at some point he was going to be able to get out and to be the man that he really is. And I didn't want to let him go. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't want to let him go, and I did what I could as a spouse, as a therapist, as a coach. I've been always next to him, trying and waiting and praying and hoping and holding space and just there. Um, so so now this July, we went together as a couple to his very first step to success. Until now, we have been able to truly, honestly reconnect.
Mm.
I'm gonna tell you that the last 3 weeks has been amazing.
Aw.
I really ask for his forgiveness because until 3 weeks ago, I was still not being able to trust him with my money. And that to myself also was a barrier to myself to be able to keep helping people and to connect with people. Those feelings, that trauma that was back there, just, still unresolved. So he was able to also be honest and ask for my forgiveness. And I'm going to tell you right now, we are different people. He just joined me. He just teamed up with me. And he didn't go to first step because he really wanted. I asked him to please to come with me. I asked him to please to come with me because I really wanted him to get to know the people that I was hanging out with and my Destiny Global community. And to me, I told him, even though if you don't know what you're gonna, be doing over there, just come with me. And he resisted at some point, and we had, our arguments about, yes, I'm gonna go, no, I'm not gonna go. But at the end of the day, he agreed, and he feels very grateful that he was able to go. Listen, life is not easy. When you live with someone who have gone through so much trauma, because my husband has gone through so much in his life. Listen, I went through so much, and I had my parents together. I had a family in my home. I had a dad who was responsible. I had a mom who was responsible. I mean, I didn't have a bad childhood. No, I didn't. I was not abused. My dad, I I was not like an easy child. I was like so naughty, But at the end of the day, it was not something traumatic that, I had a good childhood. And my husband didn't. He didn't have a family. He didn't have a mom with him. He didn't have a dad with him. He's learning to be a husband. He's learning to be a dad. He's learning to be a good provider. And I'm gonna tell you, it isn't easy. But if you feel like it's worth it, listen, if you feel like it's worth it to fight your battle, I'm gonna tell you that regardless that it's ugly, right? Regardless that is if it's ugly, if it's bad, but there's hope behind everything. Don't give up. Don't give up and ask for help. Ask someone to come with you and help you. Because myself, I went through it all alone. I went through it all alone. I'm a Ruby, and I will continue to try. I will continue to try over and over again. If there's purpose, believe me, whoever is listening to me right now, who knows me, knows what I'm saying. It's like years ago when I was told that I had cancer, when I was told what I was going to have to go through to be able to survive. Like that's not easy to be told that you have a disease that can end with your own life. It's not an easy thing. I remember that I said, and I didn't even know about gems. I didn't even know about my own personality. I just said, doctor, just tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. Am I going to leave? Yes, Karla, you just have to go. Let's see how it goes. Just let's do this. And I really didn't, I didn't care about the pain, about the needles. I really hate needles. About the surgeries. I didn't care about that. I just thought about like getting being able to be at the other side of that bridge, you know? And so just keep fighting your battles. I'm a proof that when you know how to fight your battles, and at some point during the battle, I had to give up sometimes to maybe, being able to gain strength again to be able to keep fighting. But I never, inside of me, that battle was never done. I was going to keep fighting eventually. So keep fighting. Right now, my husband and I will continue to heal, but we are doing it together. We continue to get ourselves aligned and organized in our home. We will continue to do the war of the depth. He want to do it with me, like this time. Like he has depth, so his depth are my depths too. So we'll do it together to get out of that. And so it's just amazing how surprising, how fascinating, how, I don't know, blessed. I just don't know how to express how wonderful it is when you realize that there's light, there's hope, and there's nothing in this world that cannot be overcome.
Yeah.
Anything can be overcome. Anything, just because sometimes we feel like, sometimes we are not able to find the answer, right? Or to find the solution, doesn't mean that there's no way to overcome it. It means that on that moment where you feel like that you gotta go out there and find someone to be able to be with you on that moment and help you. But you know what? Listen, I wanted to say a bad word right now, but I'm not gonna say it. But I really needed to grow up too. And I don't know who gave me the strength to grow up, but I grew up. I did. I don't know. Don't ask me how I grew up. I did grow up. And I was able to get myself into the right mindset to be able to get out of those emotions, toxic cycles, bad behaviors, bad habits. I'm still learning to get out and to learn to manage and to not get back to the same place that I was before, taking out of my way bad habits. I'm still working on that. It's a daily thing. You are every day, you are continuing, growing and learning, and there's always something new that you will have to overcome every day because it's a daily thing. All right. Today, I can say that I was able to grow, to overcome, and to become the person that I am today. But tomorrow, I know that when I will have to confront anything, and I'm gonna talk about my battles, any new battle that will come in the future, I know I will be able to fight it even stronger. And I have my husband on my side. I have a lot of skills on my side. I have people with me that are willing to help me, to guide me through it. And that's the thing, all right? Just know that you will be able to handle it. And
So
I know
good.
you're gonna be able to overcome it.
So good, friend. I have to tell you, I am so grateful for your courage to really paint that picture of the journey that you guys have been on, and for your raw vulnerability in sharing that, because the story that you have shared, they're not easy to share. And so that alone just really tells me that, one, that you really care about other people. You care about helping other people, because you wouldn't be sharing your story otherwise. But I love what you shared about, really the key for you guys has been, getting to that place of forgiveness and asking for forgiveness of each other. Um, Alongside of also realizing you can't do it on your own, and who is out there to help me get through this and walk beside me as I navigate this trauma, I navigate this battle. You've really, in telling your story, you've really highlighted some key things for anybody who might be out there facing something similar that you guys have had to walk. So I really appreciate that you also, really pointed people to those important things to remember. As we close out here, I just want to really say thank you. Really say thank you for, again, just being willing to share your story and be so courageous. One thing, there was several things that really hit me, even though I know your journey prior to today. There was a couple things that really hit me in listening to you today. And one is, you really love your husband. You really do, friend.
True.
And you are so incredibly loyal. And wow, do you believe in him? He
I
has
do.
given you such an amazing love for your husband. And I really admire that. And two, you really love your parents. You have some amazing parents who have walked with you through some of life's toughest battles. And that is just radiating from you how much you love them and appreciate them. So thank you again for being willing to join us today. And if you are listening and you have walked through anything that Karla may have shared today, maybe you're going through it right now, maybe you and your spouse are facing similar battles. If any of this resonated with you today, please reach out to Karla. We're going to put her website link below so that you can get in touch with her, because like you heard her say, you need people who are surrounding you and walking with you when you go through battles like they have. So please reach out to Karla if you would like help walking through your battle. Karla, thank you again for joining us today. You've been amazing.
Thanks to you, Jen. I have no words to appreciate everything that you have done for me. Thank you for everything, okay?
Wow, wasn't that powerful? Do you have an overcomer story? Do you know someone who needs to hear this message? Please share this video on your social platforms and tag us so we know who you are. Stay tuned as we share more overcomer stories in the weeks ahead. We're looking for you. We're looking for the overcomers. Join us. Let's come together as the overcomers. Start sharing your story. We have multiple ways you can start getting involved and repping the movement, repping your story of what he has done in your life. And last but not least, if you want to learn how to overcome, visit www.dannyjohnson.com. That's my coach, and that's where I learned how to overcome. Thank you so much for joining with us today. We believe in you, and we believe in the power of story. We believe in your story.